Sevens. Sevens bring a ton to us into the world. Uh, just this may seem kind of base, but when you think about a mature seven, if you're a mature person, you have your stuff together, then generally you have a foundation by which you can actually bring good things to others. People who aren't mature don't normally bring good things to others. And what they do bring can often be toxic stuff you should throw away. So when you think about mature sevens, what comes to your mind first?
I'll go. Easy for me. It's energy. It's the positive
Mhm.
energy. Sevens have so much energy. I think 3, 7s, and 8s all tend to be known for our energy. It seems to always be positive with sevens. Like if they're going to be bringing it, it's uplifting
Yeah.
because otherwise they're not bringing it. They're shut down. So if you're going to get it from a 7, it's going to be uplifting. It's going to be positive. It's going to be glass half full. And man, I think we rely on it as a world in ways we don't even realize.
Yeah. The occurrence of that of sevens in popular entertainment is significant. And a big part of that is that they're bringing the energy, they're bringing the entertainment, and it's wanting to make other people happy, right?
And not at anybody's expense.
Mm-hmm.
Like for as jokey and jovial as 7s are, they've got a good heart. They've got a good
Yeah.
core, and it's never at the expense of another.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a real gift.
Yeah.
That's a real superpower, in my opinion.
I've never thought about that. And as you say that, that pings for me. The sevens I know nearly all have just great hearts.
Yeah.
I also do like the idea that we rely on them more than we realize. And often it's in the times, the difficult seasons where the voice of the seven just suddenly kind of emerges. Both, I'm sure you see this in families. I'm sure you can see it in businesses. The images that are coming to my mind are actually the comedians who are speaking into spaces that are really troubling at times, and yet trying to bring some levity there so that we can push through collectively.
And it's smart levity. It's objective levity. I
Mm.
think that's where 7s and 9s align. I
Mm-hmm.
see that in my husband and my son a lot. Like they're just not going to get wrapped up too much emotionally. And they have this way, 7s particularly, of bringing that levity right when you need it, right when,
Mm-hmm.
you could go one way or the other. The road's going to split and you can go down into an emotional hole, or you can go another way. And it's like, that's when 7s just show up, I think, in some of the best ways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a sense of like they are able to read the spaces where the energy needs to change, like maybe this meeting isn't going really well and the 7 will know the right point to be like, okay, we need to talk about something else for a little while now and come back to this. Like the ability to move on is part of that, and man, does that serve us, the rest of us, in great ways.
I love that. That's well said.
That was one of the three words I had on my sheet on this was the ability to move on and the monkey mind that we can kind of associate with sevens. This can have a negative side. It has obviously a positive side, but pushing into the positive, versatility is a huge gift. I was watching a movie that was probably created by a seven, and while watching it, was thinking there are so many ideas here.
Mm.
There is so much, stuff that's just propelling the story with interesting elements. Um,
I love the term versatility. I'm in using this in corporate. One of the things that I say about 2s, 6s, and 7s as a group. And so you've got 2s and 6s who align in so many ways. They both process with feeling. They're both responsive, but 7s join them in what I say. They start out, their starting point for the three of them uniquely is social awareness and
mhm.
versatility. So while 7s don't have a direct line to feeling, they have this natural social awareness.
Good call.
And what I see over and over in sevens, no matter what environment they're in. So I see it a lot with my child, usually on teams that he's playing on, but I see it in corporate a lot. My definition for social awareness is three-pronged. One, recognizing and acknowledging inherent strengths in others,
Mm-hmm.
leaning into others' perspectives with curiosity,
Mm.
and recognizing situational demands and opportunities. And 2s and 6s do it, but they defer to others first. 7s do it with this independence that when they're in a healthy space, that kind of leadership is just exciting to get behind.
The thing that goes through my mind there is that sevens probably have been told who they are for the rest of us very, very early on. And it probably got reinforced by everybody they knew. And eventually they become self-aware and they ask the question, is that who I want to be? And then that's where things get interesting.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the head type side, especially head types who have dominant social instincts and will therefore be thinking about who am I in the group.
And there's this mental connection to others because they want the more the merrier. You know, the 7s are all about the more the merrier. And the downside is if the 7 doesn't want to do what you want to do, you can go do that and I'll still do my thing.
Mm.
But if you want to do it, man, 7s are, I don't find 7s to ever really get much play in insiders and outsiders and being exclusive. And man, when you're someone who's afraid to join, that's pretty cool to have a 7 around bringing you in.
Yeah.
Enthusiastically bringing you along. Right.
Yeah.
Often have a radar for, you would think this would be kind of a 4 trait, but I think 7s have a radar for the thing that is different. Like this person is an outsider and different, but they're different because they have some unique element to them. What's interesting there? I bet we can find out.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's an openness that 7s carry around with them that is like open to the world and new experiences and like trying different things. And like that's all part of what we're talking about, like the ability to like find something interesting in pretty much any place. And like if that's the only thing that's interesting, let's learn more about that and go there with that. And yeah.
One of the things that is a real gift, it seems to me, on exactly this front is it's not just that they'll see the thing that's different, but they'll be able to compose a narrative about the thing that's different that sucks everybody else in. And so I'm going to tell you about this guy who looks very strange. He probably doesn't have a home and he's trying to get money in through public performance. And maybe quite awkward, but when the 7 tells the story about that guy, it is going to pop and everybody's going to be, I wish I was there. That seems like an amazing thing to have seen.
Mm-hmm.
And that element of the gifts they're brought, that's one thing I know happens a lot. When you think about gifts that 7s bring to the rest of us, what hits you?
The open-mindedness, I don't find them to be particularly judgmental.
Yeah.
And again, when they're that energy for me as an 8 is to have so much energy and to like, that's where I feel the type that can meet me in that energy space better than anyone else is a 7, hands down.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have a 7 who's more mature, healthier, higher functioning, they have a real gift in making sure that things aren't too heavy, aren't too intense, aren't too much. And you don't even realize it, right? It's like they can bring that ease and lighten things without you feeling like they didn't hear it ultimately. I mean, that comes with that healthy part. They're not ignoring it, but they're acknowledging it. But is it that big a deal? You can't take anything too personally, I think, when a 7's around.
And I find that my best friend is a seven. He one of the things that is so great is that throughout our friendship, he brings dark humor into places where I am like struggling with something, and it's a way of, yeah, like you said, bringing some levity, but not ignoring the issue. Threading that needle is something that sevens can do really, really well, of like making sure that you have some amount of levity.
And I like threading the needle. I think that because it's a small space to be able to navigate, to do
Mhm.
it where someone doesn't feel dismissed or rejected or left out in some kind of way, or not seen, I guess. Yeah.
I have two big ideas about the gifts, and they seem contradictory to me. And since both of you are Enneagram experts, you're going to explain to me why this happens. The one is that the seven brings the festivity to the world, and I associate that with the celebratory, almost drunken state at its best of humanity. And on the flip side, sevens who get sober are some of the most incredible people that I know. And I don't know how to reconcile those, and I hold them in tension. And but there is something about the one who has gone through. I have been to every party. I have gotten drunk in every bar in Vegas, and I'm on the opposite side now. And the wisdom that comes out of that person is something that is truly a treasure if you meet this person.
I definitely, for me, what it brings to mind, Jeff, is the secure line.
Oh, okay. Sure.
My language has always been for sevens, when they draw from 5, what does that look like? And the language I've come up with after years of thinking about it is they're more grounded.
Mhm.
A 7 in security and maturity, when they're drawing from 5, they've still got all the same 7 stuff going on, but it's a little calmer. It's more grounded. And when you talk to sevens, a popular panel question that I like to use is, what do you wish people knew about your number? When I'm moderating panels, and almost always the answer from the 7 has something to do with, I know I keep it surface, but that doesn't mean I don't have real intellectual and emotional depth. And what you're referring to, I think, is that 7 living that out in a way that they're still bringing that positivity, but it's not over the top anymore.
Right. Right.
And for me, this is the difference between happiness and joy. Partying and like blackout drunk partying, that's a certain level of happiness. And in enjoying space with people that you care about is a certain kind of joy. Like that, being able to see spaces where enjoyment can be held without artificially creating it, this is something that sevens who have gone through some of the work, they have that ability to recognize, oh, that's a carnival. That is not real joy.
I like that.
Good word. Uh, Last thing is I wanted to tease just the idea of leadership. All the types can be leaders in their own way. And leadership doesn't always mean that you're the point person, that you're the person with the microphone in front of everyone else. There's lots of fantastic leaders who seem to be working behind the scenes. But sevens in leadership, they have a certain quality. When you think about when sevens are bringing that influence to the group, where are sevens at their best?
When they're not limited, I think the language I use a lot is that sevens love challenges but hate expectations. And I think when you get a 7 who's risen to a leadership position, they're setting the expectations. And so they don't feel limited. And so you just kind of get the best of what they're bringing. Because of their logic mind, they can see where, patterns overlap. They can think big picture, and bring all that energy. But when there's not the restrictions of it's got to be done this way, I think there's something really refreshing in that kind of leadership.
Mm.
Yeah, part of that open-mindedness is also like an ability for vision, like they're future focused, but also like they have an idea of where we could go, and the ability to sell a new direction in leadership. Because, organizations, if you don't know this already, organizations and institutions are really hard to steer in a different direction, right? But sevens can get other people on board in a way that's exciting and motivating, and like pitching things in such a way that it's like, it's not maintenance to start this new direction. It is something big and awesome, and we're going to change. And like the selling of that vision is paired with the ability to have it in sevens that is great and necessary for, like, we can see it happening in corporate America all the time. Like, this business has to be shifted to the right, or to this new direction in a significant way, and it helps to have a seven up there to get everybody on board.
So I love vision so much, TJ, I don't know that I would give that moniker to any other type as a leader than seven. Visionary seems to really be. Yeah, I like that.
It's a word I have written down for their leadership gift as well. The thing, and this will play out through their other types, it seems like the gift that each of the types bring in leadership is going to be connected to their intelligence center. And here it's the intellectual vision. It's, I need to cast a vision, and that's not embodied, and that's not relational. It's going to be very heady at its essence. And yet when the seven is able to actualize vision and connect the person or the team to the thing envisioned, that's like that's the sweet spot. I told you we could do it kind of energy that could be there. So we bring
I
up
love that
Ken.
you bring that up, because objectivity is what I was thinking, right? Like, to be a visionary and say we can change this direction, like TJ was saying, isn't gonna work if you haven't put some logic and objective reason behind it.
Yeah.
But they have that naturally. So I totally agree on the space where it's coming from, where it's the home base, if you will.